Deep within the tangled heart of the Amazon lies a legend that has haunted explorers for generations, a tale whispered in fear around flickering fires. It speaks of a tribe so ancient, so savage, that their very name sends shivers down the spine: the Ehokai, the flesh-eaters. No map marks their domain. No outsider who has seen them has lived to tell the tale. The jungle guards their secrets jealously. Bones scattered beneath towering trees, strange totems crafted from human remains, chilling chants drifting on the wind. In 1937, famed explorer Charles Beaumont disappeared without a trace while searching for this elusive tribe. Weeks later, his journal washed ashore, its final entry a stark warning: "They are real. They are watching me." Tonight, we journey into the unknown to uncover the dark truth behind the Ehokai. Are they myth or nightmare made flesh? Legends say the Ehokai worship an ancient forest deity, one that demands the blood and flesh of humans as tribute. Their belief is simple: to ensure the jungle's favor, they must feed it with life. In return, the spirits of the forest grant them power, stealth, and dominion over the land. Generations of explorers have vanished in these depths. Some say they were taken during the tribe's blood rituals, nights when the air thrums with primal drums and the moonlight reveals shadowy figures dancing in a frenzy around bone-strewn altars. Locals speak of eerie encounters, strange footprints near isolated villages, guttural chants heard echoing through the trees, and crude effigies left as warnings along the riverbanks. To them, the Ehokai are not legend. They are real, and they are watching. Few have dared to seek the Ehokai willingly. Among them was Father Luis Mendoza, a Jesuit missionary drawn by tales of lost souls and heathen rites. In 1904, he ventured upriver with a small party, determined to bring salvation to the jungle's darkest corners. Weeks passed with no word. Then, a single canoe drifted downstream, empty but for blood-smeared robes and a crude bone necklace. Villagers recognized the necklace as a mark of the Ehokai, a symbol that the intruders had been judged and claimed. Father Mendoza's fate remains unknown, but his story joins a long chain of disappearances linked to the tribe. To venture too deep is to risk becoming part of their eternal feast. The Ehokai believe the jungle itself is alive, an ancient entity that whispers to them through dreams. They claim to speak with forest spirits who demand sacrifice in exchange for protection. When the moon is full, the tribe gathers in a sacred clearing said to be older than time itself. This place, known only as the Maw of the Green God, is hidden beyond waterfalls and stone gates swallowed by roots. There, beneath a canopy of twisted trees, a colossal altar of black stone rises, its surface stained by centuries of offerings. It is here that outsiders, if captured, meet their fate. Few have seen the Maw and escaped. Those who have speak of eyes watching from the shadows and of voices calling them to join the feast. Among the greatest fears of those who dare the Ehokai's domain are the tribe's cunning traps. Unlike simple snares or pitfalls, their devices blend with the jungle, woven from living vines, sharpened bones, and stones carved with strange symbols. It is said the Ehokai commune with the forest itself, guiding roots and branches to form living cages. Explorers recount finding companions ensnared high above the ground, bodies pierced and displayed as warnings. Those who witness such sights know to turn back, or risk vanishing themselves. But some are drawn deeper, lured by tales of ancient ruins hidden beyond the tribe's territory. For beneath the jungle's green veil lies a forgotten city, its crumbling temples said to house relics of unspeakable power, and perhaps the origin of the flesh-eaters' dark rites. Hidden beneath centuries of encroaching jungle lies the city of Vayaka, a place whispered of in the Ehokai's chants. Ancient, even when the tribe first emerged, its stone corridors now lie broken and consumed by roots. Yet within these ruins, life stirs, or perhaps something older than life. Carvings along crumbling walls depict strange figures, half human, half beast, offering sacrifices to towering forest gods. In the deepest chambers, explorers have found altars still stained with dark residue and relics fashioned from bone and gold. Some say the Ehokai draw their power from Vayaka's heart, where a forgotten idol known as the Green King slumbers. To disturb it, they warn, is to awaken forces that even the flesh-eaters fear. Those who venture into Vayaka's heart report a chilling sensation, as if unseen eyes track their every move. The walls seem to breathe, the air thick with ancient whispers. Symbols etched in stone pulse faintly under torchlight, their meanings lost to time. In the deepest chamber, explorers have discovered a vast mural spanning the curved ceiling, depicting a cosmic cycle where forest spirits devour the sun and stars, demanding sacrifice to restore balance. The Ehokai's rites may be rooted in this ancient belief. By offering flesh, they stave off the darkness beyond. Yet few dare linger long within these halls. Many speak of shadows moving where none should be, and of a low, droning chant that echoes from unseen depths, calling them ever deeper. As the explorers delved deeper into Vayaka, the architecture grew stranger. Columns twisted like ancient trees, and doorways shrank as if designed for beings unlike any living now. The walls were covered with layered inscriptions, symbols upon symbols, etched across generations. One inscription caught their eye, a depiction of an ancient ceremony held beneath twin moons. Scholars believe these represented rare celestial events, times when the tribe's ancestors gathered within these very halls to perform long-forgotten rites. But the deeper chambers grew colder and more silent. The explorers' lights flickered against the damp stone, revealing worn paths leading further into darkness, and all the while an unsettling sense of being watched weighed upon them. Further into the forgotten city, the explorers found a great chamber unlike any other. Its floor was inlaid with concentric stone rings, as though marking the passage of cosmic cycles. Around the perimeter stood towering statues, their features worn smooth by countless years. These stone figures faced inward, gazing eternally toward a central dais. Upon it rested a circular stone disk, its surface carved with elaborate star maps and unknown constellations. Some scholars believe it once served as an ancient astronomical device, guiding the tribe's ceremonies. As they studied the disk, subtle tremors coursed through the stone beneath their feet, as if the ancient mechanisms still responded to unseen forces. The deeper they ventured, the stronger the sense grew that this place was more than mere ruin. It was a memory of a time long lost. As the explorers prepared to leave the astronomical chamber, one of them noticed faint tracks in the dust, marks too fresh to be centuries old. Barefoot impressions led away from the dais, vanishing into a narrow side passage obscured by tangled roots. Driven by both curiosity and caution, they followed the path. The corridor twisted deeper into the earth, walls narrowing until the group emerged into a hidden antechamber. Here, amidst the ancient stone, lay recent offerings, woven garlands of leaves, simple clay vessels, and smoothed river stones arranged with care. These signs spoke of a presence not far removed. Perhaps members of the tribe still honored this place. The air grew heavy with unseen tension, and every sound seemed magnified against the silence. The explorers now faced a choice: turn back or press on into the unknown. The explorers pressed further, their path now winding through crumbling corridors overtaken by roots and time. Each turn revealed new fragments of the past. Broken pottery embedded in walls, strands of faded cloth fluttering in unseen currents, and narrow stairways descending into deeper shadows. In one alcove, they found a series of clay tablets covered in flowing script, their meanings long forgotten. Elsewhere, a shallow stone basin filled with smooth river stones stood beneath an intricate ceiling pattern, perhaps once a place of reflection. But with each step, the air grew heavier. The faint sound of dripping water echoed from beyond. The group pressed on, unaware that the ancient halls still held secrets not meant to be disturbed. The explorers reached a wide hall, where light filtered through cracks high above, casting shifting patterns across the stone floor. Towering pillars rose along the sides, their surfaces etched with repeating geometric designs and faded reliefs of plants and animals. Scattered across the floor lay fragments of broken stone vessels, smoothed pebbles, and carved tiles. Against one wall stood a large circular relief depicting the cycles of nature: sun, rain, growth, and decay, surrounded by intertwined roots. The hall carried an unsettling silence. Every sound echoed faintly. The explorers advanced carefully, documenting each detail, their lanterns revealing corners where nature and ancient craftsmanship had fused into something timeless. Beyond the wide hall, the explorers entered a series of narrow connecting chambers. Here the architecture grew more intricate. Walls were adorned with layered relief patterns, interwoven vines, abstract water flows, and circular motifs suggestive of cycles and continuity. In one chamber, they discovered a stone shelf holding a collection of artifacts, carved stone weights, measuring rods, and fragments of painted ceramics bearing faded botanical motifs. Nearby, a low platform displayed an arrangement of seed pods and dried leaves, possibly once used for study or recording natural observations. The explorers noted the remarkable preservation of these items. Time had worn much of Vayaka, yet in these secluded spaces, traces of ancient knowledge still whispered through the silent stone. The path soon opened into a vaulted chamber unlike any they had seen. Its curved ceiling was lined with overlapping stone panels, each engraved with scenes of rivers, mountains, and forests, stylized but precise, as if drawn from long observation. At the center stood a broad, circular structure made of interlocking stone blocks. Surrounding it were flat panels carved with diagrams of flowing water, plant cycles, and layered terrain, suggesting this room once served as a place of environmental study or map-making. The explorers paused here longer than usual, sketching the walls and recording measurements. The accuracy of the ancient carvings stunned them. These were not myths, but records. Whoever built this city had known their world deeply and had preserved it with care. An intricate parchment-style illustration with a cracked parchment background and naturally aged fractures. No frames, scenes flow naturally across the parchment. Large natural fragment, deep, layered scene, a sloped stone corridor newly revealed behind a carved wall panel. Raw stone walls with smooth surfaces and faint guiding channels run along both sides, descending into shadow. Top left, medium fragment, close-up of the wall seam where the hidden passage was discovered, with ancient joints exposed. Bottom left, small fragment, an explorer's gloved hand brushing away loose debris from a section of the floor, revealing polished stone markers. Top right, small fragment, the edge of the original carved wall, now slightly shifted, showing the transition between finished and raw stone surfaces. Bottom right, tiny natural fragment near the edge, a coiled rope, lantern, and climbing tools neatly arranged at the threshold of the descending corridor. European classical sketch style, parchment texture with deep, naturally irregular cracks and fissures, layered composition evoking an ancient, fragmented manuscript. No artificial frames, elements blend organically across the parchment. 16:9. The sloped corridor gradually widened into a tall gallery, its ceiling lost in shadow. Here the architecture shifted, massive angled stone beams crisscrossed above, forming a lattice that channeled faint natural light from unseen openings far above. The walls displayed layered patterns resembling geological strata, bands of stone interspersed with embedded fragments of shell and mineral. Along one side, a series of shallow recesses held what appeared to be ancient surveying tools. Weighted plumb lines, marked rods, and carved discs. At the gallery's center lay a broad stone platform, its surface etched with intersecting grid patterns. The explorers theorized this may have been a place for observing or modeling the surrounding landscape. The blend of natural and crafted elements here spoke of a culture deeply attuned to both earth and sky. As the explorers moved beyond the gallery, the air grew noticeably cooler. The corridor narrowed once more, its walls transitioning from carved stone to sections of rougher, unworked rock. Along the floor, patches of fine sediment suggested occasional water flow during past seasons. They soon entered a chamber with an irregular ceiling, where angular rock outcroppings jutted from above. Here, the walls bore faint natural striations alongside worn tool marks, evidence that this space had been adapted from a natural cave. Scattered across stone ledges were small collections of pebbles arranged in spiral patterns, alongside fragments of mineral and plant material. The explorers paused, sensing that this chamber served a unique purpose, perhaps a place of study or quiet observation of the subterranean world. Following the sloped passage, the explorers emerged into a high-ceilinged atrium carved directly into the rock. Here, stone columns supported an uneven roof, their surfaces bearing layers of mineral deposits from ages of seeping water. Across the atrium floor, natural stone benches and low platforms suggested this had once been a place of gathering or rest. The walls displayed large panels of stylized landscape engravings, rivers winding through forests, mountain silhouettes, and patterns echoing the flow of time. At the atrium's far side, a grand archway framed in layered stone led into deeper darkness. The explorers prepared their equipment once more. Beyond that threshold lay the next chapter of the city, still untouched by light or memory. Passing beneath the grand archway, the explorers found themselves in a vast subterranean hall. Its roof soared high into darkness, supported by enormous stone ribs that curved like the bones of the earth itself. Between them, faint shafts of light traced shimmering patterns in the dust-laden air. Along the hall's edges, alcoves carved into the stone held clusters of natural objects, woven bundles of dried reeds, fragments of colored minerals, and carefully stacked stones of varied shapes. Sections of the floor bore faint, geometric etchings, grids, circles, and flow lines, perhaps once used for alignment or measurement. The explorers advanced slowly, their lanterns revealing ever more intricate details. They sensed that this chamber marked a boundary, a place where knowledge, environment, and unseen meaning converged. Beyond it, the city's deepest secrets likely awaited. At the far end of the subterranean hall, the explorers discovered a narrow passage marked by finely joined stonework. The transition from the vast open space to this carefully crafted corridor suggested a shift in purpose, perhaps an approach to a more significant chamber. Along the passage walls, shallow relief patterns traced the forms of mountain ranges and flowing rivers, stylized yet clearly referencing real geography. The explorers paused to study these details, noting familiar contours that matched known terrain beyond the surrounding jungle. Ahead, the corridor opened into a circular room where light streamed from a high vertical slit. The floor here was smooth and polished, with faint traces of measured lines and angular markings. It was clear this place had once served a precise function, one tied to observation, measurement, or record-keeping. In the rounded chamber, the explorers noticed faint air currents brushing across the floor. Following this subtle trail, they discovered a narrow stone corridor branching from the rear wall. Its surface showed marks of careful construction, with smoothed edges and subtle variations in stone texture. The corridor led upward in a gentle incline. Along its length, recessed wall sections displayed long, winding patterns, reminiscent of river flows or migration paths. The explorers compared these designs to known geographical features, recognizing familiar motifs linked to the lands beyond the jungle. Emerging from the corridor, they reached an elevated stone platform open to the sky through a natural rock opening. From here, a wide view of the surrounding forest canopies stretched before them. The city's builders had clearly understood the landscape beyond, their knowledge carved into stone, now rediscovered. From the elevated platform, the explorers traced their next path, a narrow stone bridge extending along the cliff face. Carefully carved and worn by time, it connected the platform to a distant section of the ruins, partially hidden by dense foliage. Crossing the bridge, they reached a broad terrace overgrown with moss and small plants. The terrace walls bore large engraved panels showing abstract representations of the surrounding landscape, forests, river deltas, and distant mountain ranges, arranged in flowing sequences. At the terrace's center stood a flat stone surface, marked by faint alignment notches along its edge. The explorers realized this space may have served as a point of reference, perhaps to study the terrain beyond or to guide movements across the land. The ancient builders had mapped their world into the very bones of the city. Beyond the terrace, a sloping pathway led downward, carved along the natural contours of the rock. The explorers followed its winding course, moving deeper beneath the canopy of intertwined roots and hanging vines. The path opened onto a sheltered courtyard bordered by tall stone walls. Here, large engraved stone slabs stood upright, their surfaces covered with stylized patterns representing natural forces, waves, cloud forms, and branching structures, echoing trees or river networks. In the courtyard's center lay a shallow depression ringed with stones. Though its purpose remained unclear, the placement suggested this space once held importance, perhaps a point for gathering knowledge or sharing observations about the world beyond. From the courtyard, a wide stone stairway descended further into the earth. The explorers moved cautiously, their lights revealing that the walls here were different, crafted from large, smoothly joined stone blocks, marked by faint linear engravings. At the stairway's base, they entered a vast circular chamber. Its walls curved gently upward, forming a continuous surface engraved with flowing patterns of terrain and sky. mountains fading into cloud bands, rivers merging into winding paths. Along the chamber's outer edge, low stone benches faced inward, suggesting this was a place for shared experience or study. In the center, a raised stone disc stood empty, ringed by weathered guide marks. The explorers sensed that here, knowledge of both land and heavens had once converged. Encouraged by the chamber's design, the explorers examined the surrounding engravings more closely. Subtle variations in the terrain motifs revealed connections between distant landmarks, suggesting an understanding of regional geography beyond what they had expected. One explorer noticed a narrow side passage partially hidden behind a section of carved wall. Its entrance framed by natural stone, the passage curved gently upward. Following it, they reached a secluded alcove where a series of stone panels displayed intricate diagrams, flowing water routes, highland contours, and recurring seasonal patterns. The alcove's quiet atmosphere invited reflection. The explorers carefully documented the panels, recognizing this as a place where ancient knowledge of the land and its cycles had been preserved, a testament to the builders' profound connection with their world. Pressing onward from the small sheltered space, the explorers followed a narrow stone walkway that curved gently along the rock face. The path, bordered by natural outcroppings, offered glimpses of dense jungle canopy through occasional openings. The walkway soon led to a wider stone ledge where the surrounding walls showed signs of ancient water flow, smooth streaks and mineral deposits blending with the rock's natural texture. Here, the explorers paused, noting how the builders had harmonized their work with the environment. In a quiet moment, they observed the vista beyond, a vast expanse of forest stretching to distant ridges. The journey had revealed more than structures. It had shown a way of seeing the world where nature and craftsmanship were inseparable. They prepared to move on, knowing deeper mysteries still awaited.